Hello everyone! Today I am doing a review on the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I'm going to show you clips of me applying the foundation, what I use to apply it, and then I'm going to give you my general thoughts on the overall product. So this is the packaging of the product and this is the box it comes in. There are 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce in here. There's lots of information on the box, so I'm just going to kind of read over what it says. It's undetectable, medium to full coverage foundation. It is infused with coconut water to delicately replenish skin's moisture levels, alpine rose to brighten skin's appearance and promote elasticity, and hyaluronic acid for smoother, more youthful appearance. It says, this oil-free foundation masterfully diffuses the line between makeup and skin. Coverage so undetectable and skin so naturally radiant, they'll think you were born this way. And the shade I got is Honey. Now, I mentioned when I hauled this that I had trouble finding the perfect shade. I felt swatching this that it was a little bit too dark for me, and I still kind of feel that way, but I'm learning to work with it. It's not so dark that I can't make it work. It just is a little bit darker than my current skin tone. Hopefully in the summer it will start to match me a little bit better. I don't know, but the other shades were much too light. So this Honey shade was really the closest one for me. So this is what the packaging looks like. It is so cute. I just love it. It has this frosted glass bottle, this adorable cap with the Too Faced logo, and this gold around here. And then when you take it off, you see that it has a pump. And I love that so much. I think that companies are starting to catch on to how much we love pumps in our foundation. And even like drugstore brands, I think, are starting to catch on because it is just so nice to have a pump. It is so handy. You don't have to worry about pouring out too much or sticking your fingers in anything or your brush or whatever. It's just so handy. I love it so much. So that's an awesome plus. So this foundation is oil-free, and the first ingredient on the ingredients list is water. So that leads me to the conclusion that this is a water-based foundation, which leads me to the conclusion that I should not use a beauty blender with it, and I didn't use this with a beauty blender because when you use a beauty blender, it's basically a sponge, right? So if you're using a water-based foundation, it's going to absorb a lot of that foundation. It's going to absorb all of that water. Rather than distributing it onto your skin, it is going to just absorb it, and you're going to waste a lot of product, and you're just going to have a lot more work to do. So I did not use a beauty blender. I used this brush. This is the Real Techniques buffing brush. And Real Techniques can be bought at Ulta. Sometimes I see it at Walgreens. So this is a really good brush. You can also use the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. These are two really good options for foundation if you're not using a beauty blender. I always prefer a beauty blender, but like I said, water-based foundation calls for a brush. So this is a good one. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a quick clip of me applying it to my face. So if you want to see how it performs, just keep on watching.
So I already primed my face with 2 products. I used the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer in my T-zone, and I used the Arbonne Makeup Primer on the rest of my face. And now it's time for foundation. As you know, this is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Honey, and I always use 2 pumps. I find that is pretty much the right amount for my entire face. However, you can control the amount that the pump lets out, so if you want less, you can get less if you need to just sort of touch up. So as you can see, I'm just applying it in dots all over my face where I want coverage, and then I will go in with a brush and blend those dots out. And you can use a foundation brush for this step. I just personally prefer to use my finger. Now I'm going in with this Real Techniques buffing brush, and I am blending the foundation into my skin. I use a really light hand with this, and I like to go in sort of circular motions. That way I'm not tugging on the skin too much, and I am really just sort of helping that foundation to spread evenly across the skin. Then you want to make sure you're getting the jawline and pulling it down to the neck. I always like to have foundation on my neck. It helps the color to sort of transition if the color is slightly different from your skin tone, but also I have breakouts on my neck, so I like to have those covered as well. But just make sure you're blending your jawline because sometimes that can be hidden from view and you forget to do that, but it really stands out to other people. So just a tip. And this is how the foundation looks with nothing else on my skin, just the Too Faced foundation.
So seeing that I've used this quite a few times, I've used this, I want to say at least 8 or 10 times now, I have a pretty good idea of how I feel about it. I really did have mixed feelings about it at first. You absolutely have to have a primer under this. I tried it without a primer. hoping that I would get more of that natural look that they claim to have, but it really clung to dry patches and it just didn't have that full coverage without a primer. So when I put a primer on, it helped it evenly distribute itself and just really blend into the skin a lot better. So you absolutely have to have a primer. My skin right now is pretty normal. I tend to get oily in the T-zone, but I also tend to get dry when it's really cold out. So I would say my skin is more normal to combination maybe, I don't know. But I don't have extremely oily or extremely dry skin. It's kind of more in the middle. As far as their claim at being medium to full coverage, I have not been able to get full coverage out of this foundation yet. I am still at the medium point. I mean, if you look, you can still see some of my spots and stuff that, you know, it's not like the end of the world, but it's not completely covered. So I just wanted to make that note, and I did try layering it. I have tried layering it. And I just feel like it just kind of blends away. Once you blend it in, it just blends away. It doesn't really have that full coverage potential that they claim to have. You know, that's just something that I've noticed. So I don't think this is going to be a holy grail product for me. I don't think this is going to be something that I reach for all the time. But like I said, in the summer, as I get more tan, I can see myself reaching for it. And it is a nice foundation. It's not bad. I do like the finish of it. It is comparable to my Arbonne foundation. It's not as good as my Arbonne foundation. That's still my favorite all-time go-to foundation, but it has that similar natural skin kind of look to it. So as far as wear time, I feel like this did last pretty well on me for like 8 to 10 hours. It does not have SPF in it, which is another downside. I do use a moisturizer that has SPF in it, so that's good. And for some reason, I feel like things that have SPF in them last longer on my skin, but that's just me. I don't know. But I felt like this lasted pretty well for a good 8 to 10 hours, so that's a good thing, definitely. Another thing I noticed about this foundation is that when I immediately applied it, it took maybe like 30 seconds to a minute to kind of dry out and settle and look better. So when I first applied it, it looked like it was just sort of sitting on top of my skin, but then I kind of aired myself out and gave myself a couple minutes for it to settle in, and it looked a lot better. So I would recommend doing that. Also, before you add concealer or before you set it with the powder or anything, give it a few minutes to breathe and kind of settle into your skin. I think that's always a good idea to do with any product that you add to your face. Just kind of let it interact with your skin and with the air before you add more products onto it. You know what I mean? This product does retail for $39. You can buy it on the Too Faced website. Ulta and Sephora, I think, probably carry it as well. As you may know if you've watched my review videos before, anytime I do an individual product review like this, I like to give it a grade. So today I'm going to give this a grade of an A-, and it was kind of a hard decision for me, but a lot of the reason is because I think this is a really good product. I think I will get a lot of use out of it, especially in the summer. It has a nice finish. It has a nice light feel to it, too. It doesn't feel cakey or heavy or hard or anything on the skin. It's not drying, but it also doesn't feel oily. So I like that a lot, and I love the packaging. I think they were on point with their packaging. Too Faced is usually always on point with their packaging, but I think they really hit it out of the park with this one. And I love that it has a pump. I wish their shade selection was a little bit better, but I wish that about most foundation lines, to be honest with you. I think that they could do a lot better, especially getting into the darker shades. I think that most brands and foundation lines could do better. So anyways, I'm not going to hold that too much against them. I like the ingredients. I like that it is oil-free and water-based, and I really like it. I like the finish on me. It's not getting an A+ because it's not the best foundation I've ever worn, but I do think that it's a nice product, and if you are looking for a new foundation, a good quality foundation, if everything I just mentioned appeals to you, then I think you should definitely give this one a shot. Definitely recommend that you go somewhere where you can swatch it and get color matched, because you never know. It's really hard to guess online. Obviously, I don't even need to tell you that, do I? You know that already. So, all right, that is it for this review. I give this guy an A-, and I'm really glad I got it. I am. I've been wanting to try it for a while, and I'm really glad I finally tried it, and I do think I will get a good amount of use out of it. So, please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. That helps other people find me in the YouTube world. And make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I post videos 3 days a week. Actually, on Wednesday, I have a very exciting review on this guy coming up. Sneak peek. I already filmed it, actually. I filmed it first. But I will show you basically me applying the rest of my face makeup. in that video. So if you're curious, make sure you tune in on Wednesday for that. And come join me on social media. I am on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of those awesome things, and let's hang out. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye!